Alright, here we go. Time for some inking on the main seal print. Sure and check out my latest upload of a Superman cover, Battling the Orbs. Yep, trying to block out some dark areas. The interesting thing about Superman, he was first created in 1933. Didn't appear in the comic books until 1938. And originally, the design, Superman looked more like Lex Luthor's iteration that we see today. Superman was bald. In the original design by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, two young men, teenagers, went to school together. Comic book geeks, probably the first ones before there were comic book geeks. Starting off this inking with a my ink brush pen to get the really dark areas blocked out first. And another interesting fact about Superman, Joe Shuster was inspired to create the Superman character by heroes like Hercules and Flash Gordon. So Flash Gordon was in the books back in those days. He wasn't a superhero, but he had influence. Superman first came out, his only powers were speed, faster than a speeding bullet, and strength, more powerful than a locomotive or train. And then the third power was his ability to leap over buildings in a single bound. So he did not have the ability of flight or X-ray vision at first. All those other powers kind of organically grew over the years. Love the brush pens. Hello, me. Thank you for the comment. I'm glad you like it. Just doing a little portrait action of Superman. Hello, Steve. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's cool how Superman's been around since actually 1933. He is literally the oldest superhero to exist. And so it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to keep that going and to have a part in drawing him, even if it's just from YouTube channel. Yep, he is the original. And I really enjoy the process of drawing him. Captain America was a few years after Superman came out. Timely Comics, which was Marvel in those days, jumped on the bandwagon when they saw how good Superman was doing in sales, popularity. And then it all took off. Another interesting fact about Superman, he actually does not need to eat or breathe air, which is something I didn't know until I did a little research. He can actually just live off the solar energy, the power of our yellow sun by itself, which I thought was really cool. Yes. Yeah, I've seen similar stories about that. Everybody needed a hero, and Superman was the inspiration for a lot of people during that World War II period when everything got so bad. You know, when I was growing up, he was an inspiration for me. Had kind of different things going on, but Superman was a constant for me that I could look to as a role model. Yeah, I have some drawings that I did of Superman back in the 70s when I was a kid. I was 8 or 9 years old. I should dig some of those out sometime and show them on here. Started developing my own method of drawing heroes and the musculature, physiques. What's up, Jackal? Thanks for joining. Good to see you back. Oh yeah, Batman was original favorite. And I like the whole story about his creation, where Bob Kane always took credit for creating Batman, and of course he was the artist that drew Batman originally. But his writer was Bill Finger, exactly. And that was a cool documentary, seeing how Bill Finger's family finally got credit. And Bill never got credit, never got royalties, until recently we've seen that start happening finally. Yeah, when I was growing up, Batman was actually my original favorite character, and it wasn't until later when I started drawing more Superman. But yeah, Batman is just amazingly cool. Yeah, this is kind of my stylized version. Doesn't look quite like the comic books. It's just the way I think of them. They sure did. And I think and Batman has just continued his popularity worldwide, and Superman. I once heard that the Superman logo is one of the most recognizable symbols in the world. Everybody, no matter where you're at in the world, knows what that Superman symbol is about. I always like to draw him just a little bit on the rough side where he's looking like he's about ready to go off on somebody. Yeah, that explains the trunks, the underwear on the outside of the pants, the tights. Pretty good. Yep. Man of Steel logo is everywhere. Yep, I think I would have when I was younger. The thing is, somebody could actually become Batman if they wanted to. So is yours like a comic book discussion, or is it artwork, or what is it, Steve? Very cool. Yeah, there's some pretty good comic book content out on YouTube. Check out your channel, Steve, later on today when I get some time. Tighten up, speaking of the Superman emblem. Does anybody here ever watch The Comic Historian? The guy who reads through books and has the images, pages. His buddy Benny died a couple years ago. Yeah. And now his friend, I guess, carries it on, or somebody that was helping. But they still are coming out with new shows. I watch it. It's on. He makes 3 videos a week, and he just kind of keeps you up to date on the currents out there for comics. Doing some absolute Superman and Batman, which I enjoy. And that latest version of Batman, which is kind of crazy to have like an army of Robins. And Dick Grayson's like taking over being the new Batman. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Hit me with something else. Let's see, what's some more strips about Superman? So we've all seen the race between Superman and the Flash, right? Well, and technically, according to DC's information, even though Superman can fly a million times faster than the speed of light, he's still not faster than the Flash. Means the Flash has to be insanely fast. He was tortured? In what way was he tortured? Oh, right. I've heard about that too. Just got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore. Not long before he died, he was still doing those appearances. The thing I liked most about Superman was his willingness to jump in there and help anybody that's in distress. That's what I got the most from him. Even as a kid, I didn't just stand by and let things happen. I would jump in and help people when they needed it. I think I was obviously inspired by Superman in that regard. Comics, where we get Action Comics from. Oh, dark fantasy. Yeah, it's really cool how they've been inspiration to so many people over the years. My first introduction to comic books was a suitcase me and my brother found at our house. An old suitcase that was full of my dad's comic books from the 40s and 50s. The golden age. And I've been interested in them ever since. Especially the superhero part of it. Yeah, I'm just glad that my videos, including the DC characters, specifically Superman and Batman, finally started taking off a few months ago. So I've really geared my channel specifically to them, to DC, Superman, Batman. Yes, I bought a digital copy of the new Superman movie. I'm going to watch the Fantastic Four later today now that it's out on Disney. But yeah, I bought it. Now everything's kind of in flux with the DC movies because Warner Brothers is up for sale with Netflix as a possible option to purchase it, so that could change things for the James Gunn universe. Yeah, they've got it on the sale block, so I think Netflix is the one who's closest to getting something going. Hello, Exemplar. Morning so far. It's always good when I can get a Superman drawing in on a Saturday morning. Didn't have tea, I had a cup of coffee so far. You know us American tea. I always like Green Lantern, though he's not one of the more popular. Yeah, I always liked everything about Green Lantern. Flash was kind of, you know, not my favorite, but just the, you know, the whole speed thing was pretty cool to me. And Aquaman was always kind of a background character, but appreciated the way they did the movies and everything, kind of Aquaman relevant and a little bit cool. Yeah, a lot of people clown the Ryan Reynolds movies, but I kind of enjoyed them. They were a little bit, you know, off, but I really liked them. Well, thank you everybody for taking a few minutes to stop by the GCI live stream. Merman and Barnacle, isn't that from SpongeBob? Which I have drawn SpongeBob on here before, time-lapse videos. Earlier in the year when I was doing a lot of time-lapse. Well, Christopher Reeve, that's pretty cool. I've got a Henry Hill action figure. Yeah, I always liked Christopher Reeve. I went to that movie in 1977 when it came out at the Orpheum Theater in the town I grew up in. That was cool. See him on the big screen like that. And their big promotion deal was, "You will believe that a man can fly." And I sure did. really revived the superhero genre, or actually started it, because there was nothing to speak of for superhero movies up until that point. In the late 80s, the Batman movie was another groundbreaking movie. That was amazing. That was the one I was really waiting for. Oh yeah, I'm older than most of your dads. The reason I'm any good at drawing is because I've been doing it so long. Been drawing longer than most of your dads have been alive. I was born the year that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. If that tells you anything. Yeah, that was some kind of a year, apparently. Some ancient history. Vietnam has just got started going. My dad had enough kids, as they kept raising it. If you had one child, you didn't have to go to they weren't taking you to Vietnam. And then they changed it to 2, and my dad already had 2 kids by then. And they changed it to 3 kids if you had 3. And I was the 3rd one, so he was not drafted into the army to go to Vietnam. I watched the yeah, I got to watch the astronauts land on the moon on TV one night. It's kind of a later in the evening here where I live, and got to stay up and watch the first man walk on the moon. We didn't have TV shows to watch. We only had 3 channels that we could watch on a black and white TV. Have a deer antenna on top. Yeah, I don't sound as old as you would. I actually am. I don't feel as old as I actually am either. I still do a physical job, delivering windows and doors, lumber. I can still pick up a exterior door, put it on my shoulder, and walk around with it. Well, just being alive this long kind of forces a level of wisdom on people, whether you want it or not. October 10th, 2013. No. That's when you were born? Wow. Yeah, it was this year before I moved back to Illinois from Florida, 2013. Yeah. Yeah, Superman's very inspirational, I think. 2004, wow. 'Cause I'm thinking about actually retiring in about 4 years or so. We do this for a living instead of delivering lumber. If I can ever get this channel off the ground. I draw every day. So I do, and I just put them on live streams just to get my video library built up and view hours and subscribers. I thought might as well. So yeah, I draw every morning, and I try to draw something in the evening, like twice a day. Really helps develop the mind to hand connection, so you can put on paper the image you have in your mind. That's what I like about superheroes. You can imagine anything and put it on paper. That's why I don't try to draw realistic portraits. I always thought if you wanted a hyper-realistic drawing, you might as well take a picture. Yeah, going live has really built up my subscriber numbers. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. I only got 5 this week, 5 or 6 subscribers. It's slowed down a little bit, but I'm more concerned about getting my view hours up, which I've been averaging 10 hours a day, so that'll help build the channel. One day this week I actually had 24 view hours in one day, which was a record for me. Small-time YouTuber. Yeah, I remember you being there and subscribing one time on the live. I got a couple more minutes. I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm trying to think of what I want to do next. Thinking about doing another brown bat. Did anybody see the brown bat? I wondering what you guys thought of that. It did pretty good last week. Got some views and some subscribers. Right. And that helps. That keeps you going even if you don't have viewers or subscribers with the passion. And I started realizing I've got multiple sketches. I have a file cabinet full of sketches, sketchbooks filled from front to back. And I'm the only one seeing it. I want to share what I've been doing over these years with more people. And now over 1 million people have seen my works in the past year. So it's just nice to be able to share it and get some feedback and see how other people, they think about it. Maybe inspire other people to draw. Yep, both reasons are good and both reasons are right. It is good to share your passions and it is fun. Meet a lot of cool people, especially when you start doing the live streams. Good. That is one of my main goals in doing this, is to inspire other people to just draw something every day and just keep drawing and keep drawing. Develop your own methods of starting it, getting it started, and then don't be afraid to erase. If you don't like the way something's turning out, erase it. Always start with pencil. You just keep erasing it and correcting it until it looks the way you want it to look. It's like Frank Cho says, if it looks right, it's right. Oh yeah, me too. You have to love drawing to do it every day. And when I'm in the drawing mode, I love it. Yeah, I like to draw Spider-Man. I've been trying to use my other channel, Gibson Book, to do some Marvel stuff. It's not taken off. It really stalled. You also draw? Okay, I'd like to check that out also. If I can learn something about drawing from anybody's artwork, no matter how long you've been doing it, it's cool to see how somebody else interprets these same characters. Yeah, first Marvel was way outperforming my DC on here, but then something shifted with, I think it was with the Superman movie. My Superman stuff is doing much better. I like the DC Superman stuff better anyway. I was just doing the Marvel stuff. Started doing it when the movies started coming out because it was so popular. I really got into it. Have I shown you guys the wall of all the covers that I've done? I'm not sure if you guys were on here. Would you like to see my comic covers on the wall. Alright, I'm going to move this thing. This is the one I'm currently working on. I think I might have shown that to a couple of you. And this is a poster that I did a couple years ago. These are a few of them right here. And this is some artwork I did with my grandson years ago when he was little. That's a mock-up cover I did of Spider-Man. I drew it when I was on vacation and then copied it and colored it when I got home. This is one of my more recent ones. I did that this year. This is a comic I created, my own character. And if we just pan back, it's hard to get them all on here. Up there in the left-hand corner, that's the first one I did with the Justice League and the Avengers. Here's another Spider-Man that turned out pretty good, I thought. So this is why I call it Gibson Cover Illustrator, because this is what I would like to do. I just did a short with this cover on it this morning. And of course the Hawkeye. We even got a Black Panther in here. I like this Batman Unchained. That's what I use for my avatar on this channel. His face. Thor turned out pretty good. I used a comic book reference for that. It's one of my favorite Wolverines. I started a few pages of my Hone, that character that I created. Not sure if that's enough light. That's a Bat Bruce Wayne sketch up here. This is an Avenger poster I did for my niece. That movie came out. And this is kind of a Battle of the Orbs. I do that storyline with my Superman drawings now and then. My grandson now is 12. This is my favorite Hulk cover. I've drawn this pose a lot, and then I've incorporated it into this cover. He's tearing down the Hall of Justice. And this is one of my favorite Green Lanterns. And this one, Pure Energy, that turned out decent. And that's a Samson, that's a Bible story. And of course, Captain America. And there's my version of Iron Man. And Flash. And Green Lantern with the yellow. I really like this Batman full metal jacket with his complete bat armor on. Yeah, so that's what I do. I'm 62. Okay. Yeah, I could do some more tutorials on how I do it. Let me show you what you got to get if you want these covers. This stuff here. This is Strathmore Bristol board. And this is the type of stock that they use. Yeah, I would like to do tutorials. See, this has the light blue markings that tells the artist where to keep the artwork in. It's a 11 by 17. It's really big. Drawn up, that's what all those covers are, this size. But I got this off of Amazon. I'm going to show you guys one more thing. My pages I did of that Hone comic book. This is the splash page where he's in a bar about to get into a fight. And then this is page 1. I've got kind of based off a lumberyard truck driver. And this was the next page I got started on. So Hone was a guy who he got tired of city life and working in the lumberyard, so he lives in the Rocky Mountains where he gets into a conflict with the locals there. But he also befriends a wolf and a whole wolf pack and learns how to live off the land from a Native American, which I've got concept drawings of the Native American in one of my sketchbooks. And it's all about him helping the animals and wildlife and battling with the guys who are trying to poach the animals and stuff. Yeah, he can really fight. I've got some, wish I knew which sketchbook it was. I've got some other pages, like practice comic book pages in one of my sketchbooks that I colored in, and I was working on like the Indian that taught how to survive in the mountains. And I did years ago, tried to get publishers, but of course there's much competition out there and people who can do all this a lot better than I can. No, it's not been published. All I have these ideas and beginning pages and sketchbooks full of like the design for his vehicle, his truck. It's a 1957 Jeep Gladiator truck design. Wish I could find that. I can't remember which. do some searching around and find those other drawings if you guys want to see them. Yeah, so he's kind of wolf connected, Native American, lives in the Rocky Mountains, has trouble with the locals, kicks butt. I should be able to remember exactly how long ago it was. Yeah, it wasn't 22. I think I found it. Sketchbook. These are just some concept drawings of him getting in a fist fight. Some more gesture drawings of, this is Hone. Here's some comic layouts, ideas. Here's some, I was designing that cover that I did with the wolf in the background where he comes busting in the bar. Nakoma. These are different ideas for the guy who trains him, teaches him how to live in the mountains. Here's kind of a I was going with different names like Wolfchin, that's actually German. Jake Robinson's his actual name. That's a Wolverine. I was kind of practicing some of my wolf drawings. I used to draw a wolf. Somebody fighting a bear. Here he is, all beat up, trying to learn how to live in the mountains. Yeah, I know you did. Just some more concept. This is just a random page with a little bit of everything. I always like this little Deadpool I put commenting on Batman. Aw, trying to draw Batsy again, mocking me. Why so serious? There he is. That's why I was going with the name Wolfchin, but then I changed it. So this is him. This would be like an idea for another. Yeah, this is the one on the right. Kind of went crazy drawing. So this is kind of the background story on the Indian that teaches him how to live in the mountains. He's an Arapaho Indian. And there's another Hone. Hone's Arapaho for wolf soul. So I did some research on YouTube about that. These I've showed you. There's another cover idea. Yeah, wolf soldier, that's what Hone means in Arapaho. He is fighting a bear, just an idea for a panel or a story. There's a face, and then I was practicing drawing these columns for that, where Hulk's tearing down the Hall of Justice. Here he is with his wolf pack. It's just a rough sketch I didn't finish. Here's a page layout. So I just, instead of doing this on the full 11 by 17, I just block it out, and this is actually 3 pages. This is that splash page I did. This is the first page I stuck to pretty good. This is the 3rd page, and this one's kind of up in the air. There's a Spider-Man I threw in. And then I went back to Hone for a while. This is kind of a random page, a lot going on, practicing faces. Massive Hone throwing a death punch. profile. I'm doing a more cartoon style. Thank you, Nismo. Here he is punching a hole through a door. There he is with his shirt off, acting all muscle bound. I'm not sure why I drew that lion. Here's some guy like from a video game that I was just practicing on. Another video game, Cowboy. And then we're back to Hone, Jake Robinson. There's a Spider-Man. I thought I had some more completed. That's just a random Superman. I'll probably be uploading that later. Here's some more panels of him. Yeah, I've got a lot of superheroes I created. This is from a cartoon my grandkids watching. Me and my brother did the group called the Peacemakers, and that's way before the character Peacemaker existed. But it was, I had my band of heroes and he had his. Meteor Boy was one of mine who became Nova, Supernova. Had also the Radar. And yeah, I used to draw cowboys a lot when I was younger. I get inspired sometimes when I see a Clint Eastwood movie or John Wayne movie and draw another one. Yeah, we got the Batman, we got the Wolverine going. And I did this for my kids. Just to, I posted this one a lot on my, I watched The Virginian back in the day. This is just the animated Superman. This is one of my favorite Green Lanterns in the past couple years. Here's another Hone protecting Sin. Here's Hone throwing a punch. Hone at the gym. Here's a Elvis Presley. Samson. Okay, I think I'm losing everybody. Just want to show you. I thought that I had a cover in here. I guess not. Here's an original character, Hexmo. And he's the villain for this guy. I know, kind of a satire, Captain Ajax. That's Captain Ajax and his arch enemy. Is Hexmo. And there's a chiseled Superman. Alright, I'm going to wrap it up, regroup, come up with something else. I'll probably do another live stream a little bit later this morning. So, keep your eyes peeled. This is what I finished today. But I will be back a little bit later today. I just got to regroup and figure out what I'm going to do next. Thank you, Nismo. Appreciate you. And I'm glad I could give you guys a tour of my studio and what I've been working on. So, I'll see you in a little bit.